Good morning, students of class 9. Welcome back to the online classes now. We will do history. We are doing peasants and farmers. We have finished about England, peasant and farmers of England. And we have almost finished about the peasant and farmers of America, the white settlers. And we have already learnt about the Red Indians. The original inhabitants of America were pushed towards the western side, and the white settlers moved, crossing the Appalachian Mountain and the grasslands. So, and in our previous class we have learned that the big landlords, wheat barons, they deserted the farmlands. Deserted means left the farmlands. A large number of animals and birds, their dead bodies, they were lying here and there because they were choked to death due to dust storms, black blizzard. We have already learned that 7,000 to 8,000 feet high up in the sky, the dust blew up to there. So it was a frightening scene. So the machines were clogged with sand and they were beyond repair. So the farmers left the area, they deserted the area. And there was a question, what had gone wrong? What went wrong? So now here, the Dust Bowl 3.2.5, what had gone wrong? That was the question. In our previous class, that last question was left. What had gone wrong? Now here, the answer is here. The early 1930s, during 1930s were years of persistent means continuous, regular, drought. Drought means no rain, dry season, dry areas, drought. The rains failed year after year. The rains had failed because it stopped raining. Why? They have damaged the ecology of that area. The land became very hot. In hot areas it doesn't rain. So the rains failed year after year. The temperature soared. The temperature soared means rose, increased. The temperature increased as the land had turned into a cultivated area. So now there was no greenery. The land was overturned, so that naturally the temperature rises. One reason. The rain failed. There was a persistent drought. Number two, due to heating of the land, the temperature rose, and as the temperature rises, hot air rises, and to fill that vacuum, from the surrounding air, wind blows. The wind blew with ferocious speed. Ferocious means frightening, very high speed, ferocious speed. Ordinary storm turned into black blizzard. As the wind started blowing, the speed of the wind increased simultaneously, and the ordinary storm turned into black blizzard, and all that sand, all the mud, the fine particles were blown. And we have already learned it used to reach 7,000 to 8,000 feet high up in the sky, and everything seems very dark. So number three, the entire landscape, entire means total, whole, the entire landscape, the area had been plowed, have been dug out for cultivation, plowed, overstripped, strip means taken out, overstripped of all grass. All the grasses were removed, the trees were cut that held the soil. Previously, the trees and the grass their roots used to hold the mud. So naturally, there was moisture, there was ecological balance, But now since the grasses had been uprooted, the trees had been cut down, so naturally the land became barren and the land became very hot as they turned the soil, so there was no greenery. Jealous farmers. What does this mean? Jealous farmers. Jealous means the farmers, wheat barons, were jealous of each other. Who will possess the largest area of the cultivated area? There was a kind of competition among the farmers. So trying to own as much as they could. So that's why the word jealous is mentioned over here. They were jealous of each other, trying to possess more and more than the other. So jealous farmers had recklessly means carelessly, they had recklessly uprooted all the vegetations, all the grasses, all the trees were cut down because they wanted to own more and more land. There was a kind of competition. Who will have the largest area or the biggest area of cultivated land? Even though they possessed 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 acres of land individually, still they wanted to possess more. So in this way they uprooted all the grass, they cut down all the trees, so naturally the ecology was damaged of that area, so now the nature had punished them. The whole region had become a dust bowl. The whole area had become a dust bowl now. They could not grow anything now because the rain also failed year after year. It stopped raining. So as the temperature rose, it stopped raining there. So and the whole region had turned into a dust bowl. The American dream, the people, previously when they came there and crossed Appalachian Mountain, they thought that it is a dream of, it is a land of plenty. They thought, land of plenty, they thought. The American dream of a land of plenty had turned into a nightmare. The land of plenty had turned into a nightmare. In the beginning, the same land was called the breadbasket of the world. They have produced and exported the food grains all over the world and feed all the people in Europe and around the world. But now the same land had turned into a dust bowl, a nightmare. Nobody can live over there. It has turned into a dust bowl, a kind of desertification had set in. When it stops raining for many years, naturally the soil becomes very, very dry and in a powdery form, and when the wind blows, all the mud, fine particles will be blown away, only the sand will be left. The same thing happened over there, a kind of desertification. They realized that, but it was too late. They realized that they had to respect the ecological condition of each region. They should have thought before this. They realized, but it was too late. When everything went wrong, when the land of plenty had turned into a dust bowl, they had to leave that area. Huge number of animals and birds, they died because they were suffocated with sand and mud. The machines were beyond repair. Everything was damaged due to sand. So now they realized that they should have respected the ecology of that area, or the condition, ecological condition of that area, but it was too late. So what is the point of realizing when it is too late? They can't repair now. It was beyond repair. So the land of plenty had turned into a dust bowl. So that was the end of this point. 2.5 till there about America. Now in our next class we'll talk about, the peasant and farmers of India and the opium production, cultivation. Here 3.0 we'll talk about 3, the Indian farmer and the opium production. Now about India we'll talk about. So previously I have told you, we have to, in peasant and farmer there are 3 parts about England, the peasant and farmer of England, the peasant and farmer of America, and the peasant and farmer of India. Now we have finished these two, one is left, the peasant and farmer of India, who used to produce opium. Let's say what happened there. So in India. So this much for today. Go through online portal every day and don't miss it, so that you will understand and you don't have to mug it up all the time. Once you understood, you will remember for a long time. So that's all for today. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you for watching. In the next class we'll talk about Indian farmers and the opium production. So that's all. Thank you for watching.